Coming up on this week's news, multiple space scientists are predicting that 2024 will be the year of announcing alien life. Wow.
The ICIG will give a private briefing to the members of the HOC on the UAP phenomenon.
And then we're going to join Jeremy Corbell in a UFO revolution.
The commander of the 88th Air Base Wing at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, was relieved of command due to a loss of confidence in his ability to lead. Dun, dun, dun.
UFO spotted by Top Gun instructor pilot Jack Stewart.
Update on where Kirkpatrickpants is lurking. I mean working.
And then aliens in Miami? WTF?
And then James Fox's new film, The Program. Hey there, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Allie, and we're back at it again for another episode of UAP Society's weekly UAP and UFO news show. We've combed through this past week's most exciting, intriguing, and informative happenings, and I'm stoked to get started. So without further ado, Justin, say hey.
Greetings, cosmic enthusiast. It's Justin, your guide to the mind-bending realm of the unknown. Welcome to the UAP Society's weekly UAP UFO news show, your ticket to an interstellar adventure like no other. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, get ready for a cosmic rollercoaster ride through the latest updates from the far reaches of the galaxy.
You're in for a treat as we bring you the latest and greatest UAP UFO news. So find your seats, strap in, and get ready to go on a galactic ride with us.
Multiple space scientists are predicting that 2024 will be the year of announcing alien life. And we have a tweet from Cortex Zero. Over the past couple days, I've been hearing major rumblings regarding a potential imminent announcement regarding the discovery of a biosignature emanating from an exoplanet indicative of life outside of our planet, as many other people have. As far as the disclosure process is concerned, this would fall right in line with how I believe this would play out realistically.
To back this opinion up, we have 3 different space scientists who's recently made similar statements. First, Dr. Maggie Pocock, a British scientist and space educator, says, quote, humanity will discover alien life this year, end quote. It's pretty straightforward if you ask me. She said that in this BBC New Year's Eve show that we're going to check out now.
It's delighted to say I've got Nicola Coughlan and Maggie Pocock, who was here last year with predictions, and predictions were there were going to be meteorites.
Meteor showers, yes.
Meteor showers, and they were.
Yeah, that's a pretty reliable prediction. They come every year. So.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I think I want to make a new prediction.
Yes, what would it be?
I think we're going to discover alien life next year.
That's a big prediction.
I'm doing this because I'm bound to get it wrong, and then you have to invite me back to make
I want to sort of humiliate you. But yeah, here was your let's to play that back. So everybody who heard it here first, at the very beginning of the year, these nascent moments of 2024, alien life will appear on planet Earth.
I think alien life is definitely out there.
Yes.
I'm very excited also about going back to the moon.
Love hearing those kinds of predictions, right?
Yeah.
Back in 2022, Dr. Maggie was featured in an article from iNews called I Worked on the James Webb Space Telescope, and now I think we'll find life out there. And in it, she says, quote, over the next 20 years or so, we are going to be finding out things that will change humanity. There are things we already anticipate we will find out, but what is really exciting is what we don't yet know that we will find out. So I wonder what she learned between saying this back in 2022 and now on New Year's Eve 2024, she's saying that we're going to find alien life. Okay. Also, I just want to throw some fun facts about Dr. Maggie out there is that she was the first Black woman to win gold at the Physics News Awards. She has a Barbie doll made in her honor, and she was appointed as Chancellor of the University of Leicester. Also in agreement, in her YouTube video titled The Top 5 Space News Stories of 2023, British astrophysicist Dr. Becky makes a similar statement. Let's watch a clip from her next.
Having said that, I think we are going to get, a paper that claims to have strong evidence for a biosignature in an exoplanet's atmosphere very, very soon. Put it this way, it's on my 2024 bingo card, and I would be very surprised if I didn't cross it off.
I want a 2024 bingo card. I want to play it too.
Yeah, that's, wow. That's a big statement right there, in my opinion. Besides being a YouTuber and an Oxford astrophysicist, Dr. Becky is also the author of a book titled A Brief History of Black Holes and was the recipient of the Royal Astronomical Society's Winton Award for research by a postdoctoral fellow in astronomy whose career has shown the most promising development back in 2022. A third British space enthusiast, astronaut Tim Peake, also made statements that corroborate this whole thing. Let's take a listen.
Statistically, look at the Milky Way, 200 billion stars or so. The Milky Way is, one of a couple of 100 billion galaxies that we can see in the observable universe. If you just crunch the numbers, the chances of life elsewhere are staggering. There's loads of water around. There are lots of carbon molecules and compounds floating around the solar system. We've already found 5,000 planets in our local vicinity around stars, many of them in their habitable zone where liquid water can exist. I think it's just a matter of time until we find evidence of life elsewhere. But potentially the James Webb Space Telescope may already have found that. It's just that they don't want to release those results or confirm those results perhaps for another year until they can be quite sure. But we found a planet which seems to be giving off strong signatures of biological life.
According to Tim's website, he is a former Apache pilot, flight instructor, test pilot, and current European Space Agency astronaut. A veteran of 18 years military service, Tim has flown over 3,000 hours on operations worldwide. In December 2015, Tim became the first British astronaut to visit the International Space Station and conduct a spacewalk during his 6-month mission. He also ran the London Marathon from space, which that's quite a feat.
Yeah, he must have had a treadmill up there. But anyways, so all three of these British space baddies must know something that we don't, because clearly they're all in agreement about something. They all seem to have some kind of like prior knowledge that they're all privy to that we're not, and they're just kind of like letting it out a little bit. You know what I mean? So at the end of that video with Tim Peake, the planet that they were referring to is mentioned in NASA's article called "Webb Discovers Methane, Carbon Dioxide in Atmosphere of K218b," which was published back on September 11th, 2023. And Patrick with Vetted covered this article on a recent podcast. Let's take a look.
From this article from NASA. I'll move this over here. All right. So it says, these initial Webb observations also provided a possible detection of a molecule called dimethyl sulfide, DMS. And on Earth, this is only produced by life, right? So basically they found, and the rest of this I actually should read. So the bulk of the DMS in Earth's atmosphere, right, is emitted from phytoplankton in marine environments, right? And so they're basically saying DMS is, we only know that to exist as a byproduct of life, right? That's it. We don't know any other reference for it. So if we're finding that on the planet, right, we're assuming there's some sort of life there that's emitting that. And why do they think this planet? So they found this planet. Look, I'm going to show you this picture right here. I use that in the thumbnail. Exoplanet K218b. So it's around this sun. The sun is called K218. And the planet is K218b, right? So, and they're saying on this planet, right? Look, a new investigation with NASA's James Webb Space Telescope into K218b, an exoplanet 8.6 times as massive as Earth, has revealed the presence of carbon-bearing molecules, including methane and carbon dioxide. Webb's discovery adds to recent studies suggesting that K218b could be a, I don't know how to say that, Haitian exoplanet, one which has the potential to possess a hydrogen-rich atmosphere and a water-ocean covered surface, right? So that's nuts, y'all. And then on top of that, again, on top of that, they found the DMS, right? So, but they're saying they need more time to confirm that.
Okay, so it seems like we have a lot of people in agreement here, right? What do you guys think about all this?
I think it's amazing that we are able to detect those different molecules on an exoplanet that's so far away.
Right.
That in and of itself is a tremendous success with the James Webb Space Telescope, in my opinion. Furthermore, I'm super excited for this announcement to come out,
Yeah.
And I mean, it gives me so much hope. I really think that the universe is just teeming with life.
Literally, right?
And the fact that they were able to find these signatures within the first year of the James Webb Space Telescope being
this
in
thing is
space,
new. Yeah.
you know, this is big. This means that there's probably life everywhere, you know?
And in the chat, Cosmic Cathedral says phytoplankton was some of the first living beings on this planet. Super interesting. And that, yes, 2024, big things coming. So ready. Us too. Yeah, so I just think it's really cool that we have all three of these British space astronauts and scientists stating that we're going to get this kind of announcement. And like I said earlier, it seems like they already know something and they're just waiting for the rest of us to find out.
Yeah, well, you know, it could be that they have already, you know, that they did make the detections, but they don't want to release it just yet because they're wanting to make sure that it is what it is, you know, and there's nothing else that it could be before they come out, you know, and say that they found life on another planet. You know, it's such a big discovery that they really want to make sure that, you know, their T's are crossed and their I's are dotted. You know, what is your guys' opinions?
Is this another door to lead us to think about disclosure? Is this another way they could be like, okay, hey guys, well, there is other life out there. You know, there is other life out there. We've detected it. And that can be kind of like an opening.
That's why we're excited about it. And that's exactly why we wanted to cover that story. Because, you know, I feel like it's just another creep in the door of disclosure for certain people who have maybe like been in complete denial or been on the fence about it to finally start taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And Cosmic Cathedral and I'm sorry, Justin. Cosmic Cathedral and I have discussed, and I felt this way with Hubble too. Like, you know, I always said, well, I wish there was a James Webb cable channel or, you know, streaming channel.
24/7 live stream, right?
Yes, where you can see everything. Why not? And so it always makes me ponder, okay, what are they not, you know, not being conspiratorial here, but what are they not showing us? Because they're constantly looking. And yeah, it takes some time to get some data back, but they're constantly looking. So there should be an endless stream of photos and footage and all kinds of stuff. And just the public taxpayer paid for it, so let us just see it. So how much have they known previously? And so I just think that it needs to be transparent as possible. It makes perfect sense that, you know, they want to double check, quadruple check the data that they're getting. It's very exciting. And yeah, I do kind of feel like this could be used at least to have some kind of soft disclosure. Like, hey, there is other life out there. And so that kind of just, it leaves the door open.
I agree. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's like there's disclosure is happening from all these different avenues, I feel like, you know, and it's starting to come together and merge into the true reality of where we are. You know, there's the nuts and bolts aspect, right? All the hardcore scientific people are going to eat this up, right? This is what they're waiting for.
Yep.
This is pure scientific, you know, pure discovery, you know, in a very scientific, analytical way that will convince them that yes, we do have other life out there, you know. And then also the spiritual side, or, you know, you could say the other woo, if you want to call it, side. You know, this is just more confirmation of things that we have experienced, you know, within ourselves. And I feel like it's coming together beautifully. I think 2024 this year is going to be absolutely, you know, a big freaking year for us.
Yes.
Daniel, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, really quick. I just wanted to kind of back up the whole claim for it being part of soft disclosure. I definitely think that is a huge part of this, the reason why they're kind of waiting a little bit. Because, you know, when it comes to the disclosure of this whole of the phenomenon, it's going to be multi-layered. It's going to be in all different degrees. There's people that are scientifically minded or academically minded that are going to want this hardcore proof, you know, on the physical aspect, not talking about the hyperdimensional or transdimensional aspects of the phenomenon itself. So I think it's going to help open kind of a lot of eyes and perspective on this. And I think this will, I definitely think this is part of the soft disclosure aspect. So I think in a few years, we're definitely going to see a lot more people that were maybe on the fence about the phenomenon, or NHIs visiting us, or different thing that's going to become a little bit more palpable. And I think we're going to see more of these little little areas kind of loosening in the academic world.
Nice. Cool way to put that. Thank you.
All right, the ICIG will give a private briefing to the members of the House Oversight Committee on the UAP phenomena. On Friday, January 12th, 2024, members of the House Oversight Committee will receive a classified briefing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, also known as UAP. The briefing is being led by the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community, Thomas Monaghan, and will privately be held in the Office of House Security. This has been a much anticipated event ever since David Grush gave testimony in the summer UAP hearings. Let's watch the news clip from News Nation to learn more.
For transparency over UFOs taking another step at the federal level. Next week, members of the House Oversight Committee will be called into a classified briefing on UFOs. Now, this is the first time since UAP whistleblower David Grush made his bombshell claims that the intelligence community's Inspector General will meet with House members to now discuss this topic. Correspondent Joe Khalil live for us on Capitol Hill. Joe, no surprise here, some lawmakers are not thrilled with the idea of this being a secret meeting.
Yeah, that's right. And we are able to confirm, Nicole, this is happening Friday next week, that members of Congress, some of them, are going to be getting a classified briefing on UFOs or UAPs, on the phenomenon. Now, this is going to be actually the second one that they're getting on this topic from different people, but second one since October. And just like the last one, this is also going to be in a classified setting. As you mentioned, this is a private room. You got to check your electronics at the door, and nothing that is talked about is supposed to become public. So who is giving this briefing to certain members of Congress? It's Thomas Monaghan. He's the intelligence community's Inspector General. What does that mean? That means it's his job to essentially oversee all of the levers of the intelligence community and make sure that everything they're doing is legal, that they're acting appropriately, and that the money they get from Congress is spent in a proper way. Now, David Grush, the whistleblower who came forward on News Nation, whose claims have really sparked a new interest in Congress in this topic, he has said multiple times that he does not think the intelligence community has been operating above board and legally. The center of his allegations are that for decades now, elements within the intel community have been collecting crashed UAPs that he says are of non-human origin, trying to reverse engineer them and hiding that program from Congress. So if you are David Grush and you want to blow the whistle and become a whistleblower, give this information forward, it's very likely that information would have to go through Thomas Monaghan and through his office. In fact, David Grush has told us and has publicly said during the congressional hearings that the info that he has, details, he says, are evidence of his claims that he cannot share publicly. He says he has shared that information with Thomas Monaghan and with that office. So presumably next week, Monaghan could share that information, if this is all true, with members of Congress. Members who were in that briefing, Nicole, can ask Monaghan about it. Now, whether they're going to get that information, that is a different question, because we know in October, members of Congress left that briefing really disappointed with what they learned from the Department of Defense Inspector General, telling us that their questions were not answered, that there was not a whole lot of transparency and information given to them. To just refresh everyone's memory, here's what that sounded like from the members who just left that previous briefing.
Frankly, it doesn't seem like it's anything other than what we were told in.
Yeah, we were actually told that we don't have clearance to learn some certain things.
Really?
So, yeah.
Really?
Again.
Is that in itself telling?
It could be. I don't want to read into it, but obviously, I think a lot of members were very frustrated.
So we'll see, Nicole, next week if this is any different than what happened last time. I can tell you there are members of Congress I've spoken to who are not confident that they're going to learn a whole lot, but, you know, we're going to find out next week, Friday.
All right, Joe Khalil live for us there in Washington. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
So that's my question. Like, what has changed between then and now that's going to allow them to actually hear some information? Like, are they going to get that same "you don't have the right clearance" thing that happened last time? You know, what I'm a little frustrated with this, because it's like I know what happened previously and I don't want that to happen again. So I'm like just pondering that in my brain. What do you think?
We might get something from this, regardless of what information is or isn't given to them. I know this is like a secure thing they can't disclose to the public, which I'm tired of, but they can't disclose to the public what was divulged in that meeting or not divulged in that meeting. But the last time this happened, you could almost read their expressions on their face.
Yeah.
You know, you had Burleson kind of almost slipping up on some stuff, you know, and you could see that these junior congressmen, wow, these junior. That's right. Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog. You know, but you had like these. That's fine. You had these junior congressmen that they're not used to keeping these things, right? And they're just kind of like, you know, and wanting to spurt out stuff. So, and it's interesting that the newscaster or whatever that was at the location of the halls of Congress was saying, "We'll find out on Friday," but we're not supposed to find out on Friday. You know, like. So it's kind of like, it's almost like he kind of sees maybe that something will get leaked. So I don't know if one will just get itchy, like if Burchett hears something, he might just say, you know what, forget it, screw it, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't just come straight out and tell us because they can't, I can read people's body language. I could read people's thoughts practically, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that they're going to say stuff without saying stuff. And I also think that what they do say is going to be telling, like we could read between the lines kind of thing. So I'm hopeful for this. I'm at least most hopeful that the Congress gets the answers that they want. You know, if they learn something new, then that's a win in my book.
I hope that they I hope they learn the reason why the Inspector General found David Grush's claims to be credible and urgent.
Right,
you know, I really hope that they will have a complete understanding of why he found it credible and urgent.
Good point.
That seems really important to me.
Good point.
And there's a little bit of confusion as far as like what ICIG said that, because there's been ICIG's been changing seats for like, I don't know, 3 times in very recent history, I guess, very few years. It's this one.
Yes.
It's this one. Just to clarify that for anybody watching, it is this specific ICIG.
Yes. Tom Monaheim.
Gray, you got a thought?
So you're talking about the whole Senate and trying to see if they're going to be getting more information from the SCIF and information out to us, the public. There's probably a good chance that's going to happen. There's also, I think it's like 50-50 with everything that happened last year with having different members, like in the clip where they're kind of shell shocked the fact that they were denied, these kind of newer senators that haven't really had this experience with the intelligence agency and DOD. I think that this is going to be there's going to be more behind the scenes kind of probably jockeying for this information because politics wise they're going to be not too happy the fact that they're being left out of this stuff. This is kind of finally it's getting some light on it. So I think we might feel some pushback, but I think ultimately the official disclosure is going to make some headway, and then we're going to have all the soft or other aspects of the phenomenon that are going to be kind of affecting it. So I think there's a probably good chance that some information is going to come out this year, or we're going to have more whistleblowers or whatnot.
Yes. I hope that all of that happens.
Yeah.
I kind of come across this thought, as I was just listening to Great Druid, that I think like the DOD when they're not giving them any information, they don't really feel the urgency to do so because, well, it's not just the secrets that they're keeping. It's, well, these congressmen, they're probably not going to last more than 4 years anyway.
Yeah. It's like not worth telling them because they're not sticking around long enough to earn this kind of information, right?
Or they'll give up. Or, we'll just stonewall them until they give up, or they'll get get elected out, and then we can just, there's no urgency and there's no pressure. So, yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I'm hoping that we get some good stuff out of it. If we don't, I hope that the HOC does, and I think that Burchett's face is gonna tell us everything that we need to know when he walks out of there. So keep your eyes peeled for that to happen.
Right.
Dadgummit.
Exactly. Yeah. Release the files, dadgummit. All right, up next, Jeremy Corbell. Join Jeremy Corbell in a UFO revolution. In a tweet written on December 31st, 2023, New Year's Eve, Jeremy Corbell of the Weaponized Podcast says, this year is going to start off as a UFO banger. It's go-go UFO time, folks. Easy way or the hard way, it's up to us. Do not relent. Do not slow down. Fight for what you want. This is the moment we take control of the truth about UFOs. And what he's referring to is his second appearance on the Fox 10 News Show. Let's check it out.
Welcome back to Newsmaker. We've repeatedly tackled a subject on this program that was once taboo: UFOs, or unexplained aerial phenomenon, UAPs. The sightings have increased, and the government has done a complete about-face recently. encouraging those who've seen these craft to come forward. Why are they doing this? Well, we're taking a deep dive into this subject with a guy who's become the tip of the spear on the subject, Jeremy Corbell. That's coming up in January, only on our digital platforms. But tonight, we're going to give you a sneak peek of that conversation. That's the essence of what journalists are really supposed to do. Ask the questions and have an open mind and open heart and see what they've got. And let's hear it out. Let's hash it out. You talked about being kind of blown away with this propulsion idea. The analogy I make when people say, well, even if there's life out there, they can't visit us because there's no way, the distances are too great. And my answer to that is, what if you had told Magellan in 1500 when he was sailing the oceans, hey, this little journey that's taken you 3 years, someday you're going to climb in a metal tube with wings on it like a bird, and you'll be able to do it in hours. Would he have believed it?
Right. And you know, as you're saying that, I kind of get goosebumps because if I remember correctly, in our first interview, I said something to the effect of, you know, we're just at the point where we're saying, hey, look, there's probably intelligent life out there. But the question we really should be asking is, are they coming here? And I said that like maybe in like 10 years, we'll be having that conversation. And here we are 8 years later, and I feel like we're on the cusp of that. So to your point, you know, it's like, of course, anything that is outside of our scope of understanding, it seems magical to us. But it doesn't mean that it is. It just means that we haven't gotten to that point of being able to replicate it or duplicate it. So if indeed UFOs are real, and if they are from somewhere else, and if they are somehow getting here from distances that baffle us, then there is just a technological answer to that. That's why I call it the UFO problem. I feel like there's a solution.
Yes, I agree with that, because how do we know that these civilizations, if they're out there, and I think, you know, most people now believe that there's intelligent life out there somewhere. There's life out there, and then intelligent life's a different question. But if they are advanced, let's say they're advanced beyond us by 1 billion years, what could they technically have that we can't even fathom? So I think we have to keep an open mind about this.
Yeah, I mean, it behooves us to keep an open mind about it. You know, some would say that there is a lot of evidence that there is a technology that is in our skies that is far beyond anything that we have. And our military has admitted that much. Our government to date has admitted that much, that there are craft that do things that seem impossible to us with our basic understanding of physics, and we don't know who flies them. So this basic concept of us catching up, look, mathematicians, physicists, theoretical physicists, people for ages have said, we're a young solar system. We're in a huge, vast ocean of potentiality for life. Of course, life, and even intelligent life, exists out there somewhere. But the question always is there a capability to get here? There are likely star systems and exoplanets that harbor life that have had longer than we have had to develop technologically. But also, it's possible that the technologies or the development on those exoplanets have just taken a divergent path. Maybe they're not burning fossil fuels. Maybe they learned different types of ways to manipulate our physics that just put them on a different trajectory than here on Earth.
Okay, so this is the thing that's gotten my attention. When we met first time 8 years ago, this was kind of a taboo subject. And I know you were skeptical of me because you dealt with journalists before. But again, my posture is, I have no idea. And if I pretend I actually know the answer, I'm an idiot. There's so much we don't know that to claim, well, this is nonsense, that is so ridiculous as a journalist to just say, nah, it can't be. So my posture's been, we're going to just explore this and talk about it. But what's interesting and what's changed, and I want to know why you think it's changed, the government is now saying, yeah, there's stuff going on that we can't quite explain. They're opening hearings. They're talking about it openly. Now they've opened 2 portals for the government, for pilots, military, to put videos in, then another one for the public to put their stuff in that they observe. They are now inviting this, and I'm wondering why. And my only suspicion is that they are concerned that we might make contact sometime in maybe the near future, and they want to soften the battlefield so that we don't freak out collectively.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Those are some really good thoughts.
I think that everybody in journalism should look at John Hook and be like John Hook in this interview.
Mm-hmm.
I am severely impressed, highly impressed with the way he took that. It was not a joke to him. You didn't hear the X-Files theme song or anything like that. Wow, that was a good portion of the I guess a longer interview.
4 days after that, he follows up with another fire statement on Twitter saying, "Part of spilling secrets is knowing when to keep them. I'm excited to be able to now inform you the UFO revolution begins January 9th, 10th, and 11th, a 3-night event. Behold, put on your UFO battle helmets."
Yes.
Yes. So what he's talking about is that this tweet reveals that TMZ is having a 3-night event happening next week called TMZ Presents UFO Revolution, and that he, along with other UFO advocates and researchers, will be featured in it. Let's watch the full-length trailer now.
You've said that the U.S. has intact spacecraft. You said that the government has alien bodies or alien species. Have you seen the spacecraft?
What I personally witnessed myself was very disturbing.
It has been since the inception of the UFO problem. Nothing to see here, all of that has changed.
A multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program.
A genuine disclosure of the UAP UFO subject would be the most earth-shattering thing imaginable.
It would be the biggest story in history. The biggest story, period.
Here was a phenomenon that the government couldn't protect us from.
The greatest superpower the Earth has ever known basically admitted there was no way they could defend themselves.
I don't trust the U.S. government, and I'm a United States congressman. They told me that I'd kicked a hornet's nest, and I needed to get some bodies around me.
This information is the most deeply held secrets in the entire government, and that includes the President of the United States.
Do not talk about these things, or things will not go well for you. This is like a mafia.
Have anyone been murdered?
I have to be careful asking that question.
The attacks on you, is there any moment where you regretted speaking up?
I don't, regret it. It's, I didn't want to live in the Matrix when there's stuff like this that's being hidden from the world populace.
Past the foot of my bed, there were 2 gray, non-human beings.
The aerospace defense companies, these are people who understand how to play high-level chess.
Somebody's going to walk out of one of these labs with this information and puts it out on the internet before they commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head 5 times.
The footage was captured by our military. It's in Iraq. It was treated with just spectacular secrecy.
Just be careful. Don't step on the wrong toes.
Bob Lazar has been vindicated.
So I've got a still image of something that I have learned to be called the chandelier UAP. Does that ring a bell to you?
It does.
Do you think Chuck Schumer would put forward an amendment about UAPs and disclosure, putting the reputation of the entire Senate at risk with the upcoming election? I mean, I don't know how much more one needs.
This subject is a problem. It's a problem they can't control.
I know for a matter of fact that the UFO topic is considered more important at a higher level of security than weapons of mass destruction.
This is potentially world-conquering information, technology that can change the course of mankind.
A society that has lived a foundational lie for an entire human lifetime. I don't know what gets bigger than that.
To keep things secret, people are silenced. I don't know how better to say that.
I can't wait for this to come out. This is so interesting to me. It has all the key players in it. The editing looks great.
Kudos to whoever was put the trailer together.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's a really eye-catching. It grips you. It makes you want to watch more kind of thing. And I just want to point out to you guys that this is happening Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9, 10, 11. And then on Friday the 12th, the HOC gets the meeting with the ICIG. So this week is super exciting already.
It's a big week. A big week for us.
Yeah.
Pump this stuff out, man. Get it. Keep that ball rolling. And it's just for some reason I just feel like I don't know. some wrestler that's like getting all excited about this. Like, so you tune into TMZ, brother. You know? And I've heard people just be, ragging on TMZ, but look, they look like they're taking a very serious approach to it. A lot of things that they do report are true. Yeah, it's kind of a gossip kind of channel. All right. But what's really important is we're going to be able to reach an audience that usually does not pay attention to this stuff.
Yep.
We're going to have a lot of new people scratching their heads on this. That's good. At this point in time, I don't care if it's Tucker Carlson or it's TMZ. Or
as long as it's somebody, right?
As long as it's somebody and he keeps that ball rolling, let's keep it going. I'm super excited. I can't wait for more. I'm going to definitely watch that. And it'll be free for people too. It's not something that you have to pay for. It's going to be free on Tubi, I believe.
Yep, Tubi.
I think that we should have a UAP Society Discord watch party for this if we can somehow manage that. I think that'd be dope. Awesome. That'd be so much fun.
Oh, it's really exciting. I think the TMZ, them doing like another series, which is fantastic. Last year they came out with on Netflix was Encounters by Steven Spielberg's production company. That was amazing.
That was September 2023. Yep.
I think them pushing on all levels is going to be fantastic for just general awareness. I also did really, I really respect that one particular host on Fox who was talking with him and taking it seriously and really. I think that more and more of that, no matter what news channel, if it's Fox, or whatever else, I think it's really important to be having these conversations on all different levels. It's really exciting. I'm very, very excited to watch that show series for sure.
Same. And they said that the first video that we showed from the news, they said that was just a clip of something more to come. So there's a longer interview that we're going to see, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure I heard this month.
Yeah. So we have that to look forward to. And then this 3-night thing, I'm excited. I'm going to get my popcorn ready now.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
The commander of the 88th Air Base Wing at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Ohio, was relieved of command due to a loss of confidence in his ability to lead. To learn more, let's watch this clip.
Center 7 has learned the commander of the 88th Air Base Wing at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base has been relieved of command. Colonel Christopher Meeker was removed today. Air Force officials said it's because of, quote, loss of confidence in his ability to lead. Meeker was installed as commander in July of 2022. The commander of the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center said, quote, I made this decision in the best interest of the men and women of the 88th Air Base Wing.
Yikes. So I wonder what Meeker did to warrant such like a harsh reaction against him. I mean, like, I've never even really heard of that happening before. And an interesting point is that after considering that Rep. Mike Turner, who shares a district with Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and who was number 17 on the 2010 most corrupt members of Congress list, as shown here, right there, number 17, Rep. Mike Turner. Just saying. UAP Society Discord server mod Overwatch says, quote, Twitter seems to be all hot and bothered about this story because of the UFO lore. I'm interested in it because of the connection of Wright-Pat and the corruption trail Chris Lato talked about with Rep. Mike Turner. When a commander is fired from a base that Lato identifies as possibly in the middle of a budgetary black hole where trillions of dollars disappear with no accountability, it catches my attention, especially since they chose the day of the year where the fewest people watch the news to Friday news dump it. Just saying, I'd love to know more about this. Wright-Pat is in the middle of this, and now a commander has been relieved of duty. End quote. Thank you, Overwatch, for that perspective. So we have a fired U.S. Air Force commander, a questionable Congress rep, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and trillions of missing dollars, all wrapped up in the same conundrum. So what are your guys' thoughts about this situation?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I just say it is sus. Thank you, Cosmic Cathedral. It is suspect that, I mean, it's like I don't believe in any coincidences.
Right.
The unfortunate part of this is that if we demanded answers as to why this happened, they could pretty much say any reason. Oh, personal problems,
Right.
life decisions, maybe just wasn't going over this or that with training exercises. I mean, it's a grab bag of excuses that we can get. And, does something like Lockheed Martin and, all of the secretive things going on at Wright-Patterson and Mike Turner have something to do with it? I mean, it's very possible.
It could.
Yeah, it could. Could he be like, you know what, I'm tired of the secrecy, or like he was maybe giving some indication of being, you know, going away from the pack, you know, and coming out with some things. We could only find, you know, possible, but I just don't know. There's not enough information on it, unfortunately.
Right. Well, I thought that it was worth mentioning just because there are a lot of weird connections that you could draw lines between, and you know, it does have the UFO lore involved, and I don't know, there's bubblings about it. There's a stir in the mix. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I would have tried to cover it as well. I mean, I think that it could have some value. I guess time will have to tell. I mean, it might be a year or so down the road. He might be like, you know what, I'm going to talk about why, and it might be that we never hear why.
Right.
But you know, it can potentially, you know, tie in with the whole phenomena and Wright-Patterson, Wright Air Force Base. Yep.
UAP Society server mod Overwatch also suggests that you guys check out the Chris Lato video that I just put in the chat titled UAP Disclosure Act Under Threat. What is the roadblock? And I'll give you a hint. Follow the money. Just saying. All right, let's move on.
Yep. A UFO was spotted by Top Gun instructor pilot Jack Stewart. This week, UAP Society's Captain Chris Lato of Lato Files covered a story about the U.S. Navy Top Gun instructor pilot Jack Stewart, sharing his personal account of a UAP encounter during a dogfighting training mission. Being a pilot for the U.S. Air Force for over 17 years, Chris comments on this story and gives his unique perspective on the whole situation. Let's take a look.
Okay, now this is F-18 pilot Jack Stewart. He's an author and aviator. He brings over 20 years of real-world experience as a Navy FA-18 fighter pilot, adversary instructor pilot, and veteran of the Special Operations community. And he's written fast-paced military thrillers. This is his website. These are his books, I believe fiction. Grew up in Seattle, graduated from U.S. Naval Academy, flew combat missions from 3 different aircraft carriers, deployed to Afghanistan as a member in Air Force Tactical Air Control Party. So this is a TAC-P on the ground, is basically you're calling in the strikes. So that is a difficult job, very difficult. I have one friend actually ended up killing himself after being a TAC-P in Afghanistan. His last deployment was with the Joint Special Operations Counterterrorism Task Force in Africa. So this is, again, more warfare going on in Africa that I bet most Americans don't even know about. He is a graduate of the Navy Fighter Weapons School Top Gun and holds a Master of Science in Global Leadership from the University of San Diego. We all have that. Top Gun, it's difficult, very difficult to get in. So he's at the top of the Navy. He's an airline pilot and has appeared as a military and commercial aviation expert in international cable news. He lives in Dallas, Texas with his wife and 3 children. Well, thanks to Jack Stewart for having the courage to actually speak out about something that he saw out there, right? Which seems so simple. Right? Everyone should be able to speak out about what they saw. But anyway, it's difficult. And he's already published a few books before. I'd published a few books as well. That makes it easier to actually go out and speak online and take all the spears that are inevitably going to come from saying anything online, especially anything that counteracts the mainstream narrative. So let's hear what Jack saw.
It was just a couple of years before I retired. I was flying a day air-to-air training mission with my wingman over the Gulf of Mexico. So we took off out of New Orleans, and we were just doing 1v1 dogfighting, and good weather, daytime, and I'm pulling up. I'm looking up, probably 1 or 2 o'clock out of the canopy at my wingman, who's pointed back towards my 6 o'clock, and I see something go right by the canopy. Right. And instinctively I duck thinking it's a bird or something, but I realize I'm way too high for a bird. So then my logical brain says, okay, this is a glare off the canopy or something. So I'm going to keep fighting. My wingman says, did you just see that? I'm like, I saw something. So he called it knock it off. And a knock it off means the fight's over. And he goes, I'm going to chase it. And I was like, okay. So he goes back. I turn around. We have our radars out. We have we have training missiles that are infrared, scanning, can't find it. We circled the whole area, could not find anything. And so now I'm convinced like it's a weather balloon or something, right? We go back to base and we're debriefing it, and I'm trying to debunk it the whole time. And we get the models out, and we're like this, and we're moving this fast, and something's, and he's like, dude, this thing went by your jet, turned and followed you. And I was like, wait, what? I'm like, I didn't know that part.
So is that on radar?
No, that was just with his eyes.
Oh, okay.
So Jack doesn't give an exact time or time of the year. He says a few years before he retired. So I'm guessing 2017, 2018, maybe is when this happened. He's flying out of New Orleans.
All right, the clip featured here was from Mike Ritland's YouTube channel, and the link to it, along with all other sources shown in this show, can be found in the description box below. Also, for those of you that don't know, Mike Ritland is a retired U.S. Navy SEAL, and he has his own podcast. It's a good podcast, has a lot of interesting content.
Oh, I didn't know that. You just taught me something on air live. Cool.
Cool.
Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's an interesting story. You know, it really is. Especially the fact that this object turned around and followed his jet. That's the interesting key part of information to me.
Signifies that it's intelligently controlled.
Right. You know, and it's not like it was just like a balloon or something that got sucked into the vacuum of the jet, you know, because it was flying by real fast.
Super intentional movements.
For it to speed up and match the speed of his jet, you know, that's mind-blowing to me. That's amazing, you know, and the fact that it wasn't seen on radar, that the pilot saw his wingman saw it with his eyes, you know, is very telling that it was something very anomalous, something very special, something very interesting, you know. And I mean, it's another Tic Tac, you know. That's it's amazing, and I'm so happy that he's come out and shared this story, especially on a big platform like Mike Ritland's YouTube channel.
I thought it was really cool to hear Chris Lato's perspective, just because, you know, he's also a pilot, so he can give his 2 cents on what sounds legit, what doesn't, what seems credible, what seems like BS, and I just really think that that's cool. I'm glad this story came out. John, what do you think?
I think that this is just another piece of information like Ryan Graves is trying to do, where you gather this information from pilots. You make it available online in a database, and I think this should be added to that. It's just another account of what pilots are seeing. I would say more than just on a daily basis, as in like multiple times every day that they're flying. And so still so very little get reported.
All right, I have an update on where Kirkpatrickpants is working. We know where he is now. According to journalist Ross Coulthart, he knows where former Aero director Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick is now employed. Let's hear that straight from him.
What role do you think Aero is going to take in 24? We know they're under new leadership, or soon will be, rather. What do you think they're going to do? What role will they play?
Look, it's interesting because a lot of the way Aero conducted itself previously was very much under the influence of Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick. And I know people inside Aero. I've spoken to some other people inside Aero who are good people, and they're very motivated. They want you to know what they know, and they're very interested in trying to help the American public and the world find out more about the UAP mystery. And I think, frankly, inside Aero, there's a sense of relief that Dr. Kirkpatrick has moved on. Oh, and by the way, Bryce, seeing we're on the subject, since we last broadcast, as I predicted, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick has indeed gone to work at the Oak Ridge Nuclear Laboratory. As it's very, very funny because I put in a Freedom of Information Act request when I got a tip that Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, while he was working at Aero, was being listed as a staff member. And sure enough, when I searched online, Dr. Kirkpatrick was listed as a staff member at Oak Ridge Nuclear Laboratory. And then, of course, when I put an FOI in, there was a denial that came back a few weeks after I'd gone public with this information, saying that he wasn't working at Oak Ridge Nuclear Laboratory. And I think somebody in the IT department had put what everybody already knew up online in anticipation of his appointment. Anyway, it came out in December that he is joining Oak Ridge Nuclear Laboratory. And I think that's very, very significant because, of course, that's a DOE-run facility in conjunction with a local university. And it's the Department of Energy, of course, that controls, I suspect, a lot of the UAP secrets.
So he goes from Aero to Oak Ridge Nuclear Laboratory. And to prove what Ross is talking about, here is a screenshot from Oak Ridge's official website stating, Dr. Kirkpatrick joined Oak Ridge National Laboratory in December 2023 as the Chief Technology Officer for Defense and Intelligence Programs within the National Security Sciences Directorate, NSSD. In this role, Dr. Kirkpatrick serves as a scientific advisor helping NSSD apply the lab's broad capabilities to emerging science and technology trends in the defense and intelligence communities and to other classified R&D challenges. His unique experience and significant depth of expertise in scientific and technical intelligence, R&D, leadership, and operations helps the laboratory to understand the workforce, resources, and R&D infrastructure required to meet the national security missions of our sponsors. Dr. Kirkpatrick retired from federal senior service in December 2023. Prior to that, he answered to the Deputy Secretary of Defense to stand up and lead all domain anomaly resolution office in early 2022. End quote.
I don't know. I'm still kind of confused and conflicted about Dr. Kirkpatrick. On one hand, he helped Professor Avi Loeb write, that paper on Oumuamua. And on the other hand, he stood up Arrow. However, I think he was directed, what to disclose and what to say. So, but it's like one hand, he's all for it, and the other hand, is not. So I don't know. I'm conflicted by him.
I like to give the guy a hard time. I'll just say it like that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know that he was or I hear that he was upset that Avi Loeb went ahead and put out that paper. Just as a side note, before I guess he felt that it was ready to go or that it was published at all.
I don't even know if we'll really hear too much more about Kirkpatrickpants now that he's over there. I don't know. What do you think?
We will.
I think that him going over to Oak Ridge might be some sort of indication that possibly Oak Ridge National Labs is reverse engineering some sort of UFO tech.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and there might be some kind of correlation there. On the first day of 2024, an alleged 8 to 10 foot tall alien was seen in Miami, Florida. This is a strange event that has the internet buzzing, so let's explore this together. At 9:56 p.m. on January 1st, 2024, Miami PD tweeted, at approximately 8:30 p.m. on 11/23, we received a call of shots fired in the rear of 401 Biscayne Boulevard. We responded to investigate and found that it was fireworks. No shots were fired. The situation is now under control. Let's see what that scene looked like for ourselves.
All right, that seems like hella chaotic to me, and it seems like there was a whole bunch of teenagers walking around. I don't know, it seems like there was a lot of cops there. What was really going on? So in the next video from Twitter user Only in Dade, we have what appears to be a close-up of what people are calling a light being. Let's check it out. Okay, so they're saying that this right here is the light being. That's what people are saying was the light being. In case that wasn't enough to make or break this case for you, here's another clear version of that same video that we just saw, but from a different angle, and it wasn't put in reverse or blurred. That's going to come up later. Hang on to that thought.
Mm-hmm.
So look, we're looking right here.
Right. Some people have later said that the supposed alien was actually 3 police officers walking side by side. What's your opinion? Let us know in the comments below. In an excerpt from an article titled Rumors of 10-Foot Alien at Miami Mall Circulate Online, here's what actually happened. On Forbes.com says, in quote, there were no aliens, UFOs, or ETs. No airports were closed, no power outages, end quote. Miami Police Department told Forbes in an email, adding that citywide officers were deployed for crowd control due to juveniles refusing to leave the area.
Other circulating facts about this event is that there was some kind of fight that supposedly happened and that 4 juveniles were arrested on the scene. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what do you guys make of this? Was this a real alien visitation and appearance? Was it a psyop? Was this an example of a false flag event? Was it just a bunch of rowdy kids that were fighting and shooting off some fireworks and then the cops showed up? But then if that was just the case, then why was there so many cops that showed up? Because it was like 100 cop cars on the scene. Like, I don't know. This whole thing's really weird. There's a lot of people talking about it online. A lot of the people that do UFO type shows on YouTube have already covered it. They've already got their ideas out there. I just thought that this was worth mentioning. I don't know what to make of it. I'm not sold either way. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's one of those things that it probably has a very mundane explanation that the internet has kind of just taken this event and ran with it. You know, earlier today, another UAP Society member, you guys probably know who he is, George, basically said that he found the video that was not edited or blurred in any way. Well, we showed it. And to me, it clearly looks like there's 3 people walking side by side. But, you know, I still don't know exactly what happened. I wasn't there. This is all just information that I've gleaned from Twitter or X. You know, and you're right. It is a awful lot of cops there.
That's exactly what Cosmic Cathedral says in the chat. She says, I'm really up in the air with it. This is an awful lot of cops. Yeah, it does look like a small group. So now another thing that I want to point out about this is that what we saw was the outside of the mall where there was supposedly a light being walking by. Then things came out that was a videotape that was played in reverse and blurred, and it was really just 3 people walking side by side. But what we haven't mentioned yet is what the people from the inside of the mall have been saying, and that's a whole different scenario. They have a whole different side of the story, and that's going like wildfire all over TikTok. The craziest story that I heard today was that there was a group of teenagers that had a small piece of technology that looked like either a DVD player or a radio, and they were heard saying things like, oh, we're safe here, we should just plug it in and see what happens. They plug it in, all of a sudden there's this electrical noise, like a woo 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 sound that can be heard. They said that there was like a big distortion bubble that started to form around the thing. People started showing up to look at it. People were pulling out their phones to videotape it. Then they said that what appeared to look like some kind of portal, that like a foot and an arm and a piece of a head started stuck in, walking out of this portal. There were people talking about how there were shadow figures that would appear in one area, disappear, and then all of a sudden a few seconds later they were closer up. So I don't know. This is really wild. It's kind of all over the place. I don't know what to make of it, heads or tails. It's just a lot of weird.
If there is in fact video of that, I would really like to see that, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen that video yet.
Right. And if we do find that video, well, maybe we'll feature it next week.
Yeah.
Please.
Who knows what's about to come out, but it's it's another wild story, that we need more data on.
Yeah. And in the chat, Cosmic Cathedral says, the strange thing is mainly how people came to there being aliens from this, though. Like, how did that come to even be a part of the story? That is weird. I hadn't heard that. I hope more footage comes out. And if it does, we'll bring it straight to you.
But yeah, it's an interesting story. It kind of reminds me just a little bit on the surface of the Vegas alien. Just like a little bit as far as the hype.
It gave me Peru vibes and it gave me Las Vegas vibes. That's why I wanted to cover it, because I'm like, this could be relevant, it could be not. People are talking about it either way, so let's just bring it up.
Yes. It's an interesting story.
And there could be something else going on here, and what I mean by that is, something really significant could have actually happened inside of the mall, and then now they're trying to muddy the waters by taking a video of the outside of the mall and doing this to it, to just try and discredit the whole entire story, right? We don't really know exactly what's going on, so
I'll keep my eyes peeled on
TikTok. An
TikTok.
open mind about it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it just came to my head. We're always talking about disclosure and have our theories about how it'll happen and what's the best way, and are they going to show themselves? This is a perfect example of if they did show themselves to the public, like in a public setting, how people will react, how the police department might react, how the media reacts, and all that. So it's like maybe it's just trying to test us out to see how we're going to react to these things.
And that's a good point to bring up too, because another circulating piece of information about this is that they said that the teenagers that were on scene were fighting with sticks. People took that literally and thought that it was like a piece of the tree stick. Stick is code for pew-pews. So maybe it wasn't fireworks. Maybe it was shots fired. You know what I'm saying? So if people, because one of the persons on TikTok that mentioned the shadow being said that people pulled out their pieces and started shooting at it. So I don't know. There's all these weird conflicting things. Some seem sensationalized. Some seem made up or botched. I don't know.
And last but not least, something to look forward to in 2024 is James Fox's new film, The Program. On New Year's Eve, while we were filming last week's show, UFO enthusiast and filmmaker James Fox made a tweet letting us know of his next upcoming project. And he says, "My new film, The Program, is coming late summer 2024 and does include first-hand witnesses as well as sitting members of Congress. 2023 has been good, but also very tough. Let's kick some ass in 2024.
Yes.
There's no trailer for this film as of yet, but let's look back at some things James said in the past year that may be a foreshadow of what's to come in this film. In this video, back from August of 2023, James Fox tells the host of the Minds podcast that we will get a first-hand witness, photographic evidence, and high-resolution satellite evidence within the year.
I think within a year, you're going to be hearing from first-hand witnesses, not second-hand witnesses. There's going to be additional people coming forward confirming David Grush's claims, and there's going to be more evidence leaking out, like photographic evidence, things. This is coming out. How do I know this? I've also went to Washington for almost 5 weeks just a couple months ago, and I met with a lot of the people that are working behind the scenes to get this out. They know that it's real, okay? It's just now it's a matter of how do we roll this out? How, and there is a lot of talking behind the scenes. I can assure you this is coming out, and you just wait. When some high resolution satellite imagery leaks out, that will be happening. First-hand witnesses are going to come forward. That will be happening. They can't put the genie back in the bottle, man. This is coming out.
Cannot put the genie back in the bottle.
Can't put the toothpaste back in the tube either. So a month later, in September 2023, James Fox went on the Anything Goes with James English show, saying this.
There is an individual that is on the verge of going public, and I thought that your audience might like to hear from this. Okay? Here we go. Hello, James. This is a first-hand intel guy, witness. Hello, James. It's been a while since we collaborated on a public statement. As you know, I'm working to get private industry and Congress to collaborate on the UAP materials and biologics. Yes, both are part of the legacy program. I know we had a few oddball comments from folks who haven't been in the program, but as someone with first-hand knowledge and knowing other first-hand experiencers, we have been asked to formalize our testimony through the same ICIG, its Intelligence Community Inspector General, process that David Grush went through. Unlike David, I personally have not experienced any attacks from the government, nor DOD. My reason for coming forward is purely to provide factual information concerning the people, locations, private laboratories, and research facilities that exist around the world in an effort to help the investigative process. It's always my hope that the DOD, Pentagon, and the Legacy Program people are allowed to get out from under the heavy-handed weaponization of the exotic technologies they have. I believe there is a solid path for everyone to come forward without reprisal and to help mankind by making the non-classified aspects more transparent and available for the sectors of our societies that involve medicine, energy production, and the enlightenment of our collective mindset as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm encouraged by all the hard work that many unsung heroes are doing behind the scenes, and I can tell you there's a lot, as well as in the public domain. I will be coming forward when the time is right. I wish you and everyone you read this letter to all the blessings and goodwill they deserve. The truth is now being revealed, and I promise to continue doing my part. Anyway, that's someone who's not in a position to go public just yet, but is going through the process. There's a particular process that they have to go through before they can become, I guess, whistleblower, right? So that was a message from one of those individuals that we'll be hearing from probably as early as this year. What would...
I cannot wait.
Me neither. And it looks like James Fox has been sitting on some info and just waiting for the right time to release it. And that time has come. So late summer 2024, we're going to get another film from James Fox. And I don't know about you guys, but I really love his his work. I really love his production.
Oh, yeah.
I really love his interviewing skills. I really love the way he pieces a story together. I really love how he offers people anonymity by covering their face or having them face to a corner and
Right.
having their identity not be known, because some people don't want to come forward with the stuff that they know, but James finds a way to make the message still be heard without infringing upon that person's personal information. So, oof, I'm here for it.
Yep, me too. I can't wait for that to come out. That's going to be hopefully another amazing documentary by James Fox.
Very good. So I'm excited about this. I look forward to it, and I wish him the best of luck because I think he really deserves it.
Yeah, I think so too, and I'm totally looking forward to that. All right, and that concludes this week's UAP Society weekly UAP UFO news show. Thanks so much for being here with us, and while you're here, do us a favor, smash that like button, click subscribe, ring the notification bell, drop us a lovely comment down below, and share this video with your family and friends to help us spread the good word. Let's raise the collective consciousness together in unity. All right, much love, peace, and namaste.
Namaste.
I don't have anything to think about except thoughts. And to that I have a very simple answer. It doesn't exist.